Breaking news, Callie, just came down about 30 or maybe an hour ago now. Joe Burrow is going to miss the rest of the season due to a wrist injury. I believe the reports are that there's a torn ligament. And so, like, we talked about this ahead of time in terms of what we were going to be discussing today, and sort of blew up our whole plans because, I mean, obviously this really means the Bengals season is over. We know that they're not really going to be able to do anything without Joe Burrow. What I am curious about, though, Callie, is how this is going to impact the NFL's investigation of, the Bengals, because there was a video that was posted on social with Joe Burrow walking with a cast on his wrist, and it got taken down pretty quickly, but the NFL is still investigating it because he was never on the injury report at all for the Bengals. And that's the same wrist that was injured during the game. And so just wondering if there's going to also be any ramifications from that. What are your thoughts?
You know, it depends. The NFL does not play about their money. And you know that this type of investigation and the proper reporting of injuries before games is important because of betting. That's the reality. Because of the legalized sports betting, the Bengals are not the only team being investigated right now. I think it's the Texans are under a similar investigation for not properly reporting an injury ahead of time. So it's the thing that's going to come down to is, was Joe Burrow injured to the point where there was concern that he wouldn't be able to play the entirety of the game? And I think that there's going to be a lot of gray area there. And I think that video that you mentioned is not going to do much, because they could say, oh, that was just a brace. He had soreness. I remember one of the first times I came on the show, we were talking about Burrow's calf strain. And that was like a similar discussion. People were really curious whether his calf was already hurting. And Bengals head coach was like, no, as far as I know, he was just sore. He wore the calf sleeve just because he was sore, you know? So I think that they could use that as a reference. He sleeves things up. He uses compression as a precaution. So I just think it might be difficult for them for the NFL, to really lay a stake and make a firm discipline. And I also think it's not even really worth it at this point. Like you said, the Bengals season is not in a good place right now. They are 5-5. They went all in on Joe Burrow. He just signed a $270 million extension. Yeah. And so to me, investigation and schmestigation, it doesn't really matter at this point.
Yeah, there was some further reporting. Could you bring that tweet back up? It looks like from Diana Rossini about the injury that he suffered. Apparently, one Raven said they heard Joe say, "I heard a pop," right after Clowney hit him on the last drive. He was on the field. We now know he suffered a torn wrist ligament. So, it's funny because I think, last night the Ravens obviously won the game, and things changed drastically once Joe Burrow left the game. The Ravens were probably going to win anyway, but you kind of left that game wondering, I think, like, I saw a headline that was like, there were really no winners from last night's game. Like, yes, there was a winner, and it was good for the Ravens, obviously, to win a divisional game, but you had injuries, Joe Burrow, but now we know he's out for the season. So really a catastrophic, not the worst injury in terms of, he's obviously going to miss the rest of the season. He'll have to heal, obviously. And you never want to hear about injuries to a quarterback around their hand, wrist, anything like that. But the Ravens also had injuries too. And they're probably going to be okay. They lost their tight end, or at least what's expected to believe he's going to be done for the season.
Hey, thank you for watching Brother from Another. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, go ahead and do that now. Don't forget, you can catch us 3 to 4 weekdays on PeacockTV.com and on Sirius XM Channel 85.